Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good. Couple of cool stories to get through today. Please do hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button. I hasten to celebrate a little bit because my subscriber count has just fluctuated so much over the last year. It's like been sitting at 39,099 something for literally almost a year. But I have officially hit 40,000 subscribers, but I feel like I'll celebrate when I get to 40,100. But nonetheless, seriously though, if you're listening right now and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I did officially hit 40,000 subscribers, and just a huge thank you to everyone. This 40,000 subscribers on coming to the 4th year of being in this space is phenomenal. I only just got on TikTok about 2 months ago, and we're on 1,300 now. So definitely, if you're on TikTok, make sure you go follow me, Duchess of Success Daily on TikTok, and help me get to that 10,000 mark on TikTok. Like, that's the first big milestone on TikTok. So, but I appreciate you all so much. It's being a content creator and doing this day in, day out. It definitely has its ups and downs, and I think I've spoken about the ups and downs, but way more ups than downs. And in the last few months, I just really feel like I've gotten back into the swing of things again, and like really enjoying doing this podcast. And I think choosing to do a rebrand and a refresh and taking a step back and just looking at where I want to go forward has definitely helped. And I think also because Harry and Meghan are also in a new era, that has also helped. And also just the climate around Harry and Meghan and how it's changed has also helped. So I want to say thank you, all of you who have been here from the beginning. Thank you, everyone who has joined more recently. And, this whole Royal Sussex community it's its own little bubble, but it's just so interesting and fun. And within its bubble, I just feel like the conversations we have, permeate into other parts of life. And, we're able to have serious political conversations, social conversations. We're able to have fun and laugh also. And that's what I really actually enjoy about this space and the community that we've created. So I appreciate you all so very much. What's this? Helen, you said, that's amazing. I'm following you on TikTok and Instagram. Really appreciate your hard work. And I appreciate you all being here. I've got a very interesting guest coming. Hopefully in the next few weeks. Now, I had actually asked, because a lot of you had guessed the notorious JTB to come on. He had actually agreed to come on, but he's obviously very busy. It's Thanksgiving holiday season, but that is in the works, and I'm sure, like, when he gets the time, I will most definitely have him on. But there's somebody else she's not in the royal space, but she makes a lot of content around feminism and social political issues. And I came across her because of her critique of the royal family through that lens. So I'll be having her on very soon because I love her perspective. She is UK based. And I wanted to have somebody, from the UK speaking from the perspective of the UK as well. So that's coming very soon. Oh, Lottie, you just joined. Did you join or rejoin? Lottie, you've been around for a very, very long time, so I appreciate you so much. Thank you for jumping on. Memberships. Yes, if you do want to join memberships, I always encourage through Buy Me a Coffee. But if not, YouTube memberships is there as well. If you'd like to join to YouTube memberships, whichever is convenient for you, appreciate that. All right, let's get on to the stories of the day. First things first. Yeah, new as ever content. I can't wait for them to get on other platforms. I personally just feel I understand them wanting to protect their space, protect their mental health. But I feel like for Harry and Meghan's business ventures should have had social media. You know, Archwell. I don't see a reason why Archwell can't be on YouTube, can't be on TikTok, can't be on Instagram, because we get great visuals from them. But the problem is that I feel like the work that Harry and Meghan are doing through Archwell, like today, the report just came out today. I'm not going to read it in this podcast. I'll send you the link so you can read it. But the report came out today, and it's amazing what they're actually doing. And I just feel like it's not being given the push it should be given. And it could reach so many people if they were on socials. Now, I can understand with As Ever, they probably want to make sure that, you know, they can get great content for Instagram, but maybe switch it up and do something a little bit different on TikTok or, you know, other platforms. But I just see no reason why they just can't have a great presence on social. And I would say actually more so for Archwell. I would say more so for Archwell. I think Archwell needs more of a social media presence. But As Ever team doing great job with the aesthetics, with the videos. And it's great also that Meghan is actually standing for her brand and taking part in the social media stuff. I will also say though, there is some phenomenal fan-made content of As Ever. If you're on Instagram, oh my goodness, there's this one particular account that makes content consistently. Like I feel like As Ever should just hire them. Because there are people that are just making such beautiful content for As Ever. Great visuals. Okay. Oh, and also As Ever had an email. So 20% early access to access site wide. Be the first to stock up on essentials for gifting and hosting, drizzling and toasting at 20% off before this offer is available to everyone. Simply use the code gratitude at the checkout. Whether you've been with us since the beginning or just joined the list, this sneak peek is a special thank you from our home to yours. This is why it's important to be signed up to the newsletter so you can start getting stuff like this. They are going to be doing more marketing emails, sales, all of that kind of stuff. So make sure that you are signed up to the As Ever newsletter so you can get updates like this. Next thing, the Archwell report. The Archwell report is out, and some very insightful things. Stuff that they've been doing with AI, looking at building, you know, safety belts for AI. Just today, I saw something that absolutely horrified me. OpenAI, which is the biggest and probably most widely used AI platform. This is the one that owns ChatGPT. They turned a switch on their AI chatbots, and I will say, having used ChatGPT quite often, usually the chatbot does a really good job of shutting down certain things. And but obviously we've now got court cases where maybe the chatbot encouraged people to do things that it shouldn't have done. We've got one, I think, two cases where people families are claiming that it led to someone's suicide. But the chatbots that are as advanced, they're in all sorts of issues because they don't have any safeguards at all. And there's quite a few court cases now that are coming up that hopefully will have these companies just taking more responsibility and accountability. But in the Archwell report, um, some of the things that they looked into is, conversations with young people about what it means to grow up in the digital age, the evolving tech landscape, um, how social media is influencing their lives, some things that young people are saying, like, I feel like I'm a guinea pig. I don't know how my brain is going to develop using AI. Am I just going to forget how to write emails? All of these worries, because with the AI, as useful as it is, and I use it all the time, I'm not going to say that I don't use it. It is making us like lazier in some ways, and we have to be mindful of these things, especially when it comes to young people. So that's what the insight report for Archwell was really looking into. So let me, I will post this in the chat if you want to read it in full. But I'm just really impressed at the work that Archwell is doing surrounding this, and the fact that they're actually, this is something that affects everyone, but I would say that for young people especially, if we can capture them at this time when they're developing, I think that we can nip a lot of the problems in the bud, because these big companies, they're obviously concerned about profit first and foremost. And so we have to look after ourselves because they're not going to do it. Well done to Archwell. Next thing, Kate, or Catherine, as BBC made sure to call her this time. But if you ask me, this is still some shade going on right here. So if you all remember, BBC offered an apology because they called Kate Middleton, and they didn't use her proper title. And here they're like, Catherine calls for an end to stigma around addiction. They are still clearly throwing this woman shade. I don't think I've ever even before heard them call her Catherine. The last time I've really heard Kate being called Catherine was around her wedding time. I still feel like this was subtle shade because they were made to apologize, but they don't use her title. So Kate made the headlines because she made comments about addiction and ending the stigma around addiction. And yeah, there shouldn't be stigma around addiction. Tell us something we don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing with this in 2025. Why this rubs me the wrong way is because one of the main common denominators for addiction is poverty and social inequality. And also, one of the main common denominators for why people stay in addiction, in addictive cycles, is poverty and social inequality. Not the only one, but it's one of the core common denominators. And so when I hear Kate saying, "Oh, let's call for an end to the stigma to addiction," yeah, let's end the stigma. But can we also look at the root causes of why addictions happen also? Because if there's no action plan for that, what is this other than gas and air and empty words, which has just become the norm from the royals? It's like these fluffy PR statements tell us something we don't know. I mean, I feel like most empathetic, normal thinking people in 2025, don't really have a sense of judgment about addiction. I don't know. I don't personally know anyone. Maybe there is still a stigma with some people, but I don't personally know anyone um that would be nasty about somebody having an addiction in this here 2025, in this here period where we're having broader conversations about mental health. It's something that I maybe heard when I was growing up, but I don't really hear um people being nasty about it now. I think people are more understanding of these issues than we've ever been. Also, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it an addiction charity that Kate was aligned with that she didn't visit them for something like 8 years, and then she did a Zoom call with them, and then they called her out on the Zoom call? Oh, we haven't seen you in 8 years, but here you are on the Zoom call. Hilarious. Give me 1 second, folks. My charger is all the way on the other side of the room. So I have to get up. 1 sec. Sorry about that, folks. I did not want my laptop to die in the middle of a podcast. Also, the other thing about this, and the first thing, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this is the royals have a very weird way of projecting. So it's like when Camilla was waltzing around trying to be an advocate for survivors of domestic abuse, despite the fact that she took part in the abuse of Diana. It's like Kate and William talking about mental health when we know that you not only ignored your sister-in-law's mental health, you are part of the campaign that made her mental health worse. And I feel like this is a weird way in which the royals cover up for their own what's going on in their own backyard. Prince Andrew's daughters aligning themselves with anti-trafficking organizations. And so I think they believe that for the people that aren't very bright that follow them, if they're aligned with these causes, that surely that would mean that they haven't got that going on in their own lives. I think that's kind of like their mentality. It's like a weird smokescreen thing that they do. But so often it's projection. And here we are, Kate Middleton, suddenly from nowhere, talking about addiction. Now, granted, they're meant to be aligned with different charities and different causes, but Kate did not show up for the charity that deals with this issue for years. She was called out about it on a Zoom call. It's not aligned with any of the other main projects that she's been doing. The early years, you know, this she also just did the speech and the business day with her early years. Children need love in their early years, and somehow linking that to business in the last initiative that she was, she showed up in a suit and stood on a podium in front of business leaders and gave a speech. So it's just like, how does all of that suddenly now link into her calling for an end to stigma around addiction? Like, there's no continuity and nothing that kind of binds their work, the work of the royals together. And I say work with a very small W. And I think it's why one of the reasons they struggle so much with connecting with an audience and having any type of flow in their projects. One minute we're calling we're talking about addiction. The next, William will be on a plane to Dubai to plant another tree. Oh, apparently, actually, Earthflop is going to India next. This is what I've heard. And also, I just saw something else about Kate and William possibly going to Washington DC. I think I've just seen this. They're going back to the US for what exactly? Goodness me. Wait, let me actually just find that because it came up on my feed and then it disappeared. But they could be going to Washington, which means are they going to go visit the ballroom? Oh yes, William and Kate are in talks to visit Washington DC next July. Well, I mean, you had Kate smiling away while sitting next to Trump during the state visit. So would it surprise me that they're ready to get all buddy and sit in the decimated, horribly new decorated White House? There's some chatter on social media about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's Christmas plans and whether or not Charles even bothered to invite the Sussex family to come to Sarrington. Listen, at this point, does it even matter? Because it's not like they'd get security anyway. And if they did, would they even feel safe? While we aren't getting many stories about whether an invitation has been extended, I imagine those stories will happen with the obvious anti-Sussex slant in the next week or so. What's funny about that is the royalist community is already looking past Christmas and well into the new year. Allegedly, Buckingham Palace is in talks with the White House about a possible royal state visit to Washington next April, ahead of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It seems odd that King Charles would make a point of doing his first state visit as a king to the US, but do it in April and not July. But there's a new wrinkle. Perhaps the Prince and Princess of Wales will be sent to Washington next July. And obviously, the state visits are all about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. As page 6 adds, royals coming to celebrate the 250th birthday of the USA next July, but will Harry and Meghan be shut out? Harry and Meghan, I'm sure, will be minding their business, making pies at home. It's like, why do they always have to drag Harry and Meghan into everything? So the royal family is planning to jet over to the US to celebrate America's birthday. I actually just find that quite odd, to be honest. Like, why do you need to spend taxpayers' money to go and send the royals to the US to celebrate American independence? Like, am I the only one that kind of finds that just a little bit weird? So the monarch, who recently celebrated his 77th birthday, was feted at a birthday bash in New York last week, organized by the British consulate. The event was hosted by JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon at the bank's new headquarters. Well, we'll see. That'll be interesting. But I do agree with the general theory that if these visits happen, the Sussexes will be centered in every story. I mean, they always are. It will be headline after headline about William and Kate are coming to America. Will they see Harry and Meghan? Same with Charles. Also, if Kate does go to Washington next year, it will be the first overseas work trip since Boston in 2022 or Jordan in 2023, which was just a royal wedding, but still it was work. I mean, Kate seems to be showing up less and less and less and less. And I'm so glad that people are finally noticing. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. This floating around. I'm not even going to dwell on this for too long because it is just rather ridiculous. But there's a royal reporter, a royal rotor rat, trying to shift his book. Something Loney, saying that Prince Philip, upon learning that Harry and Meghan were going to get married, said one steps out with actresses, one doesn't marry them. Yeah, one steps out with Penny at the truffle hunting parade or at the horse race thingy, one doesn't marry her. One steps out with our Penny, but one doesn't marry her. One might even have a love child with our Penny, but one doesn't marry her. People out here who have alleged love children talking about one steps out with an actress, but one doesn't marry them. Insane. That is nasty work. Do these people realize how crazy they look? Saying stuff like this. Apparently, being an actress is horrible, but being friends with Epstein and doing all sorts with young women and girls, that's normal to these people. Like a woman having a job in the entertainment industry and having a career and being on a show that people enjoy, that's apparently the worst thing that you can do to these people. But being a whole PDF file, a whole JPEG file, that's okay. Now, granted, I don't really know if Philip did say this. Harry always spoke very highly of Philip. But anyway, it's not like he would bash his family members in public. But is it believable that he would say something like this? Totally. Philip was known for his gaffes, many of them arsist, sexist, homophobic even. I think there's whole articles on horrid things that he's said. So would I be surprised if there was any truth to this? No. But please don't tell me that you had everything to say about Harry marrying an actress when you had nothing to say about Andrew. Please. For those of you who were around during the circus surrounding the Oprah interview, I mean, they had outlets out here saying that Harry and Meghan doing an interview is what killed Philip. Philip, who survived probably two world wars, survived the Spanish flu, survived COVID, survived Star Wars, the Clone Wars, survived the Fifth Reich. I mean, this guy has survived everything. But apparently it was Harry and Meghan's Oprah interview that did him. Those were the headlines that they put out at the time. A whole joke. Lottie, Harry knew Philip was a 304. Yeah, I'm sure he probably did. And I'm sure Philip was probably very confused as to why Harry wanted to settle down and be a good husband and father. I'm sure that confused Philip very much. Harry truly is the exception to the Windsor man rule. And the audacity of Philip, because Philip was actually a whole sugar baby. He's a whole sugar baby. He didn't have money when he met the Queen. And I'm pretty sure any historians in the chat, that the Queen was advised initially not to marry him. So why is he talking about one steps out with an actress, one doesn't marry them? This guy was a whole sugar baby. He been a sugar baby his entire life. Um, Shelley, you said trust and belief with all the crap we got going on here. No one in America are thinking about a visit from that royal family. Yeah. I mean, it's just so tone deaf. It's so out of sync. America is grappling with so much. If you want to talk about freedom, America is grappling with so much. And then you want to go send Charles and Kate and William to do what? Go and have fancy food in that new banquet hall that Trump has built, looking ridiculous. Yeah, one doesn't marry actresses; they marry family members. You marry your cousin. I mean, the Queen and Philip, aren't they third cousins or something? Goodness me. Nobody wanted Lizzie to marry Philip. She had to give him that prince title in order for the courtiers to respect him. Yeah. Apparently, Betty was a pick me too. Alrighty, next thing, the jealousy around Harry and Meghan's friends. And I think this stems from the fact that they really wanted Harry and Meghan to go broke. They thought that Harry and Meghan, would just disappear into the abyss. And I don't believe that Tyler Perry is the only celebrity that helped them. I don't believe that. If anything, I think this is just my theory, by the way. Not trying to be shady, but this is just me theorizing. If anything, Tyler Perry is, he came out and said I helped, but there's probably other people behind him who also helped. And they just didn't want to be known publicly, or Harry and Meghan thought, it's probably a better idea that they're not known publicly. But now you have the UK tabloids I guess jealous and salty that Harry and Meghan have friends that help them, probably let them fly around on their private jets and stay in their nice houses. And maybe also lend them some money or help them get investors or whatever it is. You all know what you do for your friends. For rich people, I mean, that's just elevated. That's all. But yeah, this is give me a sec, folks. Need to find the I believe this is Victoria Jackson. Let me just find the article. Apparently, she's the one, or could be the one, who let them stay in her house when they were in New York. And sorry, I have to find. Let me just find the article because it'll be easier for me to express my words. Oh yeah, here we go. So Victoria Jackson allows the Sussexes to borrow her many homes and her private jet. So when I read the Duchess of Sussex's cover profile in Harper's Bazaar, I found it interesting that she allowed the Bazaar interviewer into the New York brownstone, which the Sussexes had borrowed. Longtime Sussex watchers know that in the past 3 years, whenever Harry and Meghan visit New York, they're usually staying at someone's private home rather than a hotel or Airbnb. I wondered if the British press would use the Bazaar profile to dig into who the New York home belonged to. And when you look at that, the Daily Mail uncovered it. The obsession is real. According to their sources, the Sussexes stay at Victoria Jackson's brownstone, meaning it was Jackson's house manager who bellowed Meghan's title into the abyss during the interview. Yeah, I thought that was a really weird part of the interview. I was like, can you just imagine Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, in the house? Hilarious. When you are a friend of Victoria Jackson, there is clearly no shortage of places to stay. She is, after all, the queen of cosmetics. Now, I feel like what the Daily Fail is trying to do here is play into the jealousy and insecurity of Daily Fail readers, because it's not unusual for anyone's friend to let them stay at their homes, but obviously Victoria Jackson being wealthier and having multiple homes, they want to play into the jealousy of their readers and the deranged obsession of their readers who don't like Harry and Meghan having anything nice, including friends who let them stay at their houses. And what's crazy is that they're trying to spin some kind of negative angle on this article. Like, can you believe it? Can you believe it? She lets them stay at her house. All I see here is Victoria Jackson being a nice person. And, you know, within Jackson's circle, it seems like she's become almost like a mother figure to Harry and Meghan. They were introduced to each other apparently through Gloria Steinem, who is one of Jackson's New York neighbors. So I'm personally just happy that Harry and Meghan have people to turn to, whether it's to stay at their homes, business deals, ventures, close friendships, the way in which they all seem to combine together nowadays for the Sussexes. Because in their circles, they understand that competition happens at the bottom, camaraderie, community happens at the top, collaboration happens at the top. The Mail has been trying to convince their readership that everyone in America hates Harry and Meghan, so it must kill them to have to add an asterisk. Everyone apparently hates Harry and Meghan, except for Victoria Jackson, except for Oprah, Gayle, Tyler Perry, the head of Paramount, the CEO of Netflix, Kamala Harris, Doug, Hillary Clinton, Gloria Steinem, Serena Williams, Kris Jenner, and Beyonce. Also, I'm consistently in awe of Harry and Meghan's networking skills. Damn. Well, I feel like all of these people, they have no time for the British tabloid and royal establishment's nonsense. These are Hollywood people, these are business people who saw Harry and Meghan's value from the very beginning. So I don't know why they continue to insist that Harry and Meghan were going to just be, stranded. It was never going to happen. Crazy work from the Daily Fail, as usual. All right, folks, I'm going to end things there. Make sure you go and read the Archwell report. I did post a link, but I'm going to repost it on the community tab. With Love Meghan coming next week. Harry's going to be out and about next week. So some great stuff to look forward to. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. And I'll see you tomorrow, folks. Ciao.